Hello, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. I'm sure you all had a wonderful July 4th holiday weekend, long weekend for some, myself included. A lot going on and took place over the weekend with the meltdown once more of media and the Democratic Party over the passing of the big, beautiful bill. But before we get into any of that, I would like to say I ask you all to pray for those people that have lost their lives. 80-some people have perished in the floods in Texas, which is called the 100-year floods that have taken place down there. And we wish you all a fast recovery. And please pray for those who have perished and those who have lost everything. We've seen that now twice inside a scant few months apart. And a year ago, this time we saw the devastation that took place both in several places, Florida, East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, who got hit very, very hard, and some in Southwest Virginia. So we would like you to pray, as I do and have done this morning, for these misfortunate people that were caught up, especially those who perished in the campground trying to enjoy a holiday weekend. So please give them a little thought today as you move on through your very busy day, and keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that we need prayers for the leaders of the world's countries right now, that they come to their senses and get into a peace agreement to work out some of the nonsense that has taken place with regard to wars and bombings and the like. And that is all the countries need to come to their senses and stop this. The Lord is ever present around the world and sees what's going on. And I believe that if we don't come to our senses, that we're going to have a reckoning that we're not prepared for. But going into that, it's almost incredible, but Joe Biden is out in San Diego last week trying to be relevant, and spun another story which never took place anywhere in and around or about what he's talking about.
I was in the White House, the president and another head of state. And I got a note handed by one of the staffers saying, your daughter's on the phone. And it turned out, two of them had been in an elevator. I think it was in Chicago, I'm trying to remember, see. And the cable broke. Oh. It didn't completely break, but it went down, and one of those things, you know.
Those things,
you know.
Unfortunately, the story is bullshit.
I often ask the question, I ask it to you rhetorically. If America doesn't lead the world, who can?
Great question.
No, not a joke. Not because of power. Who can put it together? So, I'm doing that. The second thing is that...
World peace.
Joe, stop. You're embarrassing yourself.
The Democrats would love, and I'm sure are hoping, that he goes away, because he's not any help to their reorganization program, which is purely socialistic and Marxist. As we watch the transformation of a political party that is, it's run its course. And for that matter, so has the Republican Party. With the antics that we see taking place, around the Congress anymore. It is almost unbelievable. Our founding fathers would not approve, and I guarantee you that. We have a president that's trying to get the job of turning things back to normal done, and has to fend off all of the roadblocks all along the way. Is he right about everything? Probably not. And we all know that his personality rubs a lot of people in this country wrong. Whether it's good or not, it doesn't matter to them because of the Trump derangement syndrome of hating the person and the things that he has to say. But one thing you'll find out about a New Yorker from Queens is we don't hold back on what our thought processes are, and we will tell you exactly what we're thinking. And this is what is going on right now with Donald J. Trump as well. So you have to understand the personality, get past the rhetoric and the repetitiveness of his speech, and understand that what he has put together, he has the capabilities to do. And also look at the job numbers that are popping up and running its course right now. The media is clearly against everything Trump. They're against everything that is in the big, beautiful new bill that was passed. They fight it, and so are the Democrats. And I'd like you all to remember, come the midterm elections, that not one person on that side of the aisle made an effort to even try to understand. They grandstanded over it and had Hakeem Jeffries try and do a filibuster, but the only filibuster that he did was to help himself break a record so he can put that in his memoirs that will come out at some point, and we'll all be inundated with that because this guy thinks he is a great orator, and he has not impressed me or anyone I know in any way, shape, or form. This guy is, he's trouble. And if he ever gets into a leadership position, you have seen nothing yet. So the media just likes to lie a lot, and Trump likes to win a lot, and winning is what upsets the media and the politicians that are anti-Trump, because they're not getting their way. Their side act of collecting cash back from NGOs has been interrupted, and that is severely hurting their stock purchases there, Nancy, and so on and so on. But let's just take a small look here at what the media is up to.
I voted for Harris because she supports migration and open borders.
I voted for Harris because I pee sitting down.
I voted for Harris because I support equality in sports.
If you voted for the big, beautiful bill, you're a big, ugly bitch, and in that order, don't ever switch it up. Big, ugly bitch.
What? Are you gonna cry?
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
What?
This jobs market is like the Energizer Bunny. Every single time we expect it to run out of steam, it just keeps going and going. So these new numbers show that the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June. That was well ahead of the expectation of about 118,000, well ahead of some whispers that we heard on Wall Street of a sub 100,000 number.
Deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill.
Well, Trump wins. They hate it, but he wins again and again and again. And it will be another win after another win for Trump, because what he's put together in a management criteria is working. Like it or not, more people are going back to work. More people are going to have more money in their pocket. And what he has formula for we, the American people, for a change, rather than lining the pockets of politicians, foreign countries that we're backing and supporting wars for, such as the Ukraine, and places where we've just poured our hard-earned tax dollars into nonsensical NGOs that funnel money all over the place as a money laundering machine that it was under the 4 years of Biden-Harris. We know that now. And the Democratic side of Congress wants to continue this because maybe they're benefiting in some way, shape, or form. It's interesting things to think about. The other thing that I'd like you to think about is exactly what is happening with our Justice Department that's supposedly looking into not only the assassination attempts on Trump, the assassination attempts that were never clarified to anyone by the FBI. We have, Kash Patel is supposed to be uncovering all of this and making arrests. Pam Bondi has done nothing to look into any of the Epstein files that they claim now it was suicide by our FBI, but we need to know about what was going on that island and who was involved. But that stays covered up. There have been no arrests. There have been no charges brought against people that were illegally using the auto pen, illegally doing things in Congress, illegally doing things in lawfare, such as the law cases that were propagated by the Biden administration in New York City against Trump, against the mayor of New York City, and the like. We see nothing happening within regards to arrest or indictments, at least, of anyone. And I would like to know, and inquiring minds around the country are whispering, what is going on? What's happening? We've got a lot of deportations going on and a lot of look-sees into what different blue states have done to thwart the president's authority in some cases through these robed sycophants that they call federal judges that have been appointed by Obama all over these states. And what about some of the things that Obama was guilty of? What about Pelosi being indicted on anything? What about Schiff? What about a multitude of people, I'm not going to sit here and name them all, that sit in our Congress that are anti-American, pro-Somalian, and pro-whatever Trump says against. They laud. They hate American people. They're foreigners sitting in our Congress, which I believe is a travesty in itself. And we need to primary these people the heck out of there come election time in your particular state. But anyway, you want to talk about deportations on steroids, we can take a look right here.
Again, Chavez looked like he's struggling with his footwork.
Oh, big right from Paul. And you can see the red markings now on the face of Chavez Jr. as he's getting beat up. Chris, how do you have it through 5 rounds?
Got it 5 rounds in favor of Jake Paul, 50-45.
Oh, nice uppercut.
Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake
It can't get any worse.
And we also want to get to some breaking news. The Department of Homeland Security says a famous Mexican boxer has been arrested by U.S. immigrations and customs enforcement agents and will be deported. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was arrested for overstaying a tourist visa that expired last February.
So if you're in the country legally, you got a problem.
Last week, Chavez was in the ring with YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul. The DHS says the former middleweight champion will be sent back to Mexico, where he faces organized crime charges involving weapons and explosives. Officials say he's believed to be connected to the cartel.
Let's go. Answer the door. Go on. Peekaboo. I see you. You know how hard this place is to find in the dark?
It's interesting what has taken place in a scant few months of a new presidency and the people that are just melting away with Trump derangement syndrome on steroids. And the deportations on steroids, they want to stop and talk constantly about the concentration camp that was built in Florida. These people are lunatics. You can't look at this facility and call it anything but a holding center for deportees that are going to be shipped back to their country of origin. And they need housing for these people. And it's not cruel by any stretch of the means to put people housed where they have medical attention, they're being fed properly, and they're being looked after while being vetted, because we don't know who a lot of these people are, what their intentions are. And we're not talking about brown people. We're talking about anyone that has crashed through this border under the open border policies of Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, and Joe, the I'm lost forever Biden. You saw him earlier. He's still making up stories. The next thing will be that he fought an alligator, and he can teach you how to get around it. Him and Corn Pop. Anyway, it's a dead subject, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but why is he still out talking to people and making up stories? If he wants to be a storyteller, there's a place in Jonesboro, Tennessee that is the storytelling capital of the world, and I'm sure they would love to have him come in and spin a yarn or two for them all during the festival of storytelling that takes place there in Jonesboro, Tennessee. By the way, it's a great place to visit and go and listen, because there's some really interesting stories to be heard. And it's a nice little town, one of the oldest towns in East Tennessee. And there's a lot to see there and experience. So don't hesitate to get into East Tennessee. And it's a short ride from Knoxville, a short ride from Bristol, and most of Kentucky can get to it very easily. And Irwin and those towns that you'll pass through can use your business because they were the ones that were hurt so badly by the floods of Helene. And don't forget to pray for those people. They're still suffering in some cases, as they are in Texas that we talked about earlier. We have a visit to Stupid Town coming up here soon, where you'll see Jasmine Crockett and Rosie O'Donnell at it one more time. And it's interesting at best that these people even exist, and one sits in our Congress acting the fool that she sounds like when she tries to talk like she's from the hood. It's disgusting that you have a sitting congresswoman that acts this way and makes no bones about being flippant, ugly, and racist. So you'll see that in Stupid Town. But before that, let me just talk to you a little bit about the great 4th of July that I hope you all had. We enjoyed it. We stayed home. Kaiser and I were grilling out a little bit and having a wonderful time. It was farm work weekend. We got an awful lot accomplished in this past weekend on the farm. All my cutting is done and up to my par. So we have a beautiful week to look forward to. Next week we'll probably get out and get around a little bit, but we'll see what comes up weather-wise. They're talking about weather moving in. We've had extreme heat here in the 90s for the last week and over the weekend, but it was a beautiful, warm, sunny, God-given day to be out, walk in the woods, have a moment of silence away from the noise that you hear every day on the media channels, on this channel, and other channels that you may get on Rumble, Fox, and YouTube, and I don't know much about the other ones, but it's always bad news. It's not bad in this country. We have a wonderful country to live in. And anyone that wants to rail against what's going on, whether it's a politician they don't like, whether it's a law they don't like, whether it's the fact that people are turning back to Christianity one more time, it upsets some of these people that may have been worshiping at the altar of wrong ideas and incorrect thinking. And that has to turn around. So if you have a neighbor, rather than arguing with someone who doesn't agree with your particular view of either politics or religion, try to reason within reasoning, not arguments, and see if they cannot see the other side and present it in a fashion that this is why I believe in Jesus Christ. This is why I believe in this government. This is why I believe in this particular law. This is why I believe that immigration should be controlled. And let them take from your kindness rather than your argumentativeness a reason to maybe change their mind or maybe look at things through a different looking glass. Because we have a media that provides a window that is tinted to make everything look the way they would like you to appear, or it to appear for you to look at as being the right choice. We're all endowed with our reasoning abilities, and now we have to start to actually think with common sense about what's really going on. Lest we end up in a world that is begging for the end times, which is a scary proposition, but it's highly possible if we continue down the road of the debauchery that we see happening in our streets today, and these protests being whipped up by people that are profiting from this. You're being used, everyone out there in the street, with your hair dyed and carrying signs and carrying other countries' flags. You're being used. You're being used as pawns in a very large organization that is called the devil's work. You need to come to the realization that you need to start to think for yourself. No one is coming to take your health care away. If your Medicaid is being cut, it's only because they're asking you to work for 40 hours a month or give 2 hours a week into volunteering somewhere. And there's several ways around this, but it makes you productive. Unproductiveness is a playground for the devil's work. And it's always been that way. Idle hands are never any good for you or your neighbors or your country. Pick up yourself away from the computer, from the video games, from your cell phone, and go out and seek a job. You will feel better after you work a day. It feels good to be out and doing something that's constructive for your own mind and for the help that is needed in several areas of workplaces, that they're now crying that their slaves that were brought into the country to do the work for them are going to be sent home. It's not a bad thing. They can come back if they do it correctly. They've been told this. They were brought into this country by wrong-thinking individuals that saw them all as slaves and a vote for the Democratic Party. And this is why they are so upset that they're being rounded up. And ICE is just doing a job. The police people out there working along with ICE are just doing a job. And if the National Guard has to be sent in, that's because wrong-thinking people were used to go out and cause a riot and destruction to private property and public property. And there is the long and short of everything, folks. It's not hard. It's not hard to get up in the morning and say a prayer, make this a better day, dear Lord, and mean it. And go out and do something constructive. Go help a neighbor plant a flower bed or a garden, or fix a failing roof, or fix a gate for someone that doesn't have the ability to do it anymore because of age or a problem, a health problem. They're there. They're in need. And you can do something constructive rather than carry a Palestinian flag across a campus somewhere. Get a job, and you'll feel better. I promise you that. And with that, we'll take a little bit of an exit here into Stupid Town so you can see what's really going on right here.
Merry Christmas! Dinner was full! It is time for Chicago to come alive! Come alive, Chicago!
But let's talk about the reality.
The reality is that the Chicago Tribune reported this weekend that violent crime is down to levels not seen in at least a decade in our city. This is a very direct quote. The steepest statistical drop in recent memory, with fewer than 200 homicides in the first 6 months of the calendar year for the first time in more than a decade. So year to date, let's look at the numbers again. Homicides are down 32%. Shootings are down almost 40%. Robberies are down by over 33%. I don't know if we have the numbers up there, but shooting victims are down. I believe that number is 40%. But let's talk about the why. That's what's most important here. We can identify a few key reasons why we've seen this decline under my leadership.
Unfortunately, more violence in the city. So far, at least 40 people have been shot and 6 killed across Chicago this 4th of July weekend. Neighborhood residents walked the track at Avalon Park, unaware just hours earlier gun violence claimed the life of a teenage girl while wounding a man there.
I'm always shocked at the things that's happening in this area, but again, I'm getting used to it at the same time, but it is heartbreaking. Just before 11 p.m. Friday night, investigators say gunfire erupted in the park located in the 1200 block of East 83rd Street on the city's south side. Police say 16-year-old Mia Smith died of a bullet wound to the throat, while a 35-year-old man was hit in the leg after an attacker approached them on foot and opened fire. In the hours to follow, there would be 2 new mass shootings.
Shootings are down.
No, not really. I have 2 sons, and I'm very concerned about them. I have 2 brothers, one that was murdered and one that was shot. So it's affected me personally.
Police continue to investigate, but so far, no one is in custody and no arrests have been made.
Shocker.
I really love Venn diagrams. You know, the circles, right?
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
The real answer of Kamala was very crazy or dumb. Nobody knows what, but it was bad. So they actually replaced it. Think of this. They've never done that for me. They actually replaced it with another answer, having nothing to do with what she said before. They took another thing that she said and they just lopped it in there. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. 60 Minutes, nobody's ever seen. And they wanted to make her look as good as possible, make her look better.
Because 60 Minutes is only 60 Minutes, they edited the interview, just like they always do. But Trump, who never misses an opportunity to A, whine, and B, abuse the legal system, claimed, based on no evidence, that 60 Minutes edited the interview deceptively. It's a plainly frivolous lawsuit.
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
CBS and Paramount Global, our parent company, overnight announced the settlement of a lawsuit by President Trump. The president sued over a 60 Minutes interview with his opponent in the 2024 presidential election, then Vice President Kamala Harris. His lawyers claim the interview was edited, quote, deceptively. Paramount and 60 Minutes deny that claim. Paramount Global says it will pay $16 million to settle the lawsuit. Part of the money will cover the fees and costs for Trump's lawyers, and the rest will be donated to Trump's future presidential library.
The president really did not have a case here, and many people have reinforced that argument.
CBS did nothing wrong here, but its parent company is paying the price anyway because of President Trump's highly unusual litigation strategy. This is now a playbook of sorts for the president because he won a settlement from Disney's ABC last December, also a settlement from Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, and now a settlement from Paramount Global.
Think about that.
Here's the statement obtained by CNN. Quote, with this record settlement, President Trump delivers another win for the American people as he, once again, holds the fake news media accountable for their wrongdoing and deceit. CBS and Paramount Global realized the strength of this historic case and had no choice but to settle. President Trump will always ensure that no one gets away with lying to the American people. So that statement is exactly why CBS News journalists did not want the parent company to settle. That statement is exactly what 60 Minutes correspondent feared would happen. Trump coming out and claiming victory, even though he actually had a very weak case. Legal experts told CNN it was frivolous and ridiculous. They said that CBS could easily win in court if it had chosen to go that route.
Hey, where's my check?
We'll be mailing them out next week, sir.
Oh, no, I want mine now.
I don't have any checks to give.
Well, that guy got one, right? Give me one of them big ones. I don't care.
That while we may not have the numbers just yet, that doesn't mean that we don't have fight left in our bodies. And so I am going to fight him every step of the way until we get what we deserve, because it was my ancestors that built this motherfucker. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
So, Lee, first of all, it's good to see you in the new year. You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need.
Listen, he up there, he's spewing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't, you know.
But when she called me and said, I think it's time for me to retire, and you're the one that I believe should take my seat, I really was kind of caught off guard. I didn't anticipate that. If anyone knows anything about the Congresswoman, they know.
We showed up, and if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do, for sure. We got some cool shirts.
You know, the congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my House seat. And I was just starting to get into the rhythm of doing constituent services and things like that.
We got Madam Williams, who just happens to have the honorary seat. It's not even honorary because she's holding it down, y'all. But the legend himself, John Lewis, that is the seat in which she currently serves. So she honored his legacy. This is the message that she wanted to send today.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
They get on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Mustard on a beat, bro, deep boat, any rap. He a freak though, man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him breathe. Let them boys to the cross, they walk around like T's.
How about that? It's 0. And I know people gonna feel away. Listen, all I do is give y'all facts. So you come back to me when you don't get that check and say, Jasmine, you were right. Just like y'all want to get out there and say all kinds of, other stuff. But come back, because you're getting 0.
Well, that's a visit that should have brought you some amusement and a laugh. It sure as heck did for me. And we're going to say on this Monday, a happy Monday. Make it a happy Monday for yourself and everyone around you, because It's a good day to start anew and to start thinking for yourself and not be cajoled by either a news media program or a misthinking person that wants you to believe something that you're not or should not believe. So with that, we're going to say, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for more visits to Stupid Town and a little bit of an outline of what's going on in and around you without bias. So God bless you all. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.